everyone, and thank you for tuning into the North Main Minute. I'm Joshua Dobie. A very frequent question, for the obvious reasons, that we've been discussing a lot with clients and prospective clients here over the last several months has to do with the idea of the Federal Reserve. Now that it appears that they are at the end of their raising cycle, meaning with regards to increasing interest rates, when are they going to start cutting rates? Now, first of all, bad answer for the first one, right? Nobody knows. I mean, the markets make guesses. I look at the futures securities markets to understand where folks are making guesses about what they think the probabilities are of when the Federal Reserve Board is going to cut rates, how much they're going to, how many times this year. I mean, there are futures out there for just about whatever you would like as far as making a guess, which is what it is at this point, about when that process is going to start. So we start with the idea nobody knows. Second big idea is when you're looking at it with regards to your overall plan, if they do start cutting, how much? And then not just how much, but how fast. You recall from previous North Main Minute videos, we talked a lot about how fast the Federal Reserve raised rates relative to our history. I mean, it was the most amount in the fastest amount of time in our history. So it was a pretty unusual kind of experience, and we're still working through that at this point to understand exactly what the full ramifications of that are. But now we're already into a space where there is expectation in the markets, and this is objective. This is not my guess on things, but there is expectation in the markets that not only will the Federal Reserve begin to cut rates this year, but that they're going to do it more than once. We'll see. That we really need some time yet for the economy to adjust into this, quote, new normal, which really isn't new normal. It's actually the normal from about 15 years ago, for those of you who've been around a little while like me. But it is relatively new for folks who are relatively new to markets and relatively new to watching the Federal Reserve. So I understand that we need to adjust as an economy and as markets overall to what exactly that's going to mean. Which brings me to the third big point, and this is very, very, very important. If you're going to make changes to your plan or your portfolio, make sure you're doing it for the right reasons. The last cycle, which was a much longer cycle than is usual for our interest rates being at the places where they were, was a 15-year cycle. 15 years. So the kind of, let's call it, hurry that sometimes folks feel that they need to have in order to be able to adjust in a day or a week or anything like that usually is unwarranted. Most plans don't work out well that way. Most cycles, even though they're usually not as long as 15 years, still are several years in duration. And so when you're looking at things, again, make sure that you're making changes if you do for the right reason. It may not make any sense for you to make changes, and that's an answer as well. An important thing to keep in mind, meaning that it's not necessary just to make change in order to feel like you're going in the right direction. If you'd like to reach out to us, North Main Financial Group, perhaps talk about what does it mean to be in a cycle, meaning as far as the interest rate levels are concerned, does that change portfolio construction? Does that change the kinds of things that you should emphasize inside your asset allocation? We'd love to hear from you, northmainfinancial.com.